I'm Ben, and this is my camper, known in Lloyd Kahn's book here as the Redwood Road Boat. Come check it out. Let me show you inside. Obviously, it's like mostly a bed at this point. I had a little kitchen slide out that goes underneath this platform and like all kinds of shelving and stuff. And to be honest, when I'm like on a trip, it's far less pristine in here. It's, you know, like there's not that much place to hide things, whatever. But yeah, this is really the main area. Yeah, it's like just a really nice feeling little like cabin. Super simple and not like too much going on. It's kind of been the name of the game in general. Just wanted to keep things like light. It's on a Toyota Tacoma, which is like a lightweight truck, basically. I built it for kind of just like camping trips and like I work a bunch of odd jobs like on the road. So when I'm in the place for like 3 or 4 weeks working somewhere or like longer sometimes, it's just really nice to have like a little home base, cozy, like nice spot, rather than like a tent or whatever I was using before. The shell is built all out of California redwood. It's actually a fully wood shell. There's like no metal anywhere in the framing. I had built shells before that were like a little overbuilt, like 2x4s, whatever, everywhere, and I just kind of wanted to keep it like lighter and like keep the look cleaner with kind of more 2x2s and just like lighter wood framing. So yeah, it's tongue and groove. I had it milled to like thinner than 1/2 inch, and so it's super light, but also has been plenty strong and like held up well over the years. Not too much in the way of features. Probably like I got my little shelf over here. This is probably, you know, it's really obviously simple and open here. When I built it, I first thought I would kind of be like, you know, adding additional things like here and there whenever I'd need it. But honestly, it's just been working so well for me that I kind of just haven't done much. And then of course, just up here is a lot of storage for like big bags and sleeping bags, pillows and stuff like that. There's a little trap door. The first shell I built, it didn't have access to the cab in the back. So that's always a bit of a thing, you know, if you're like somewhere in the boonies at night and you know, you hear something, it's nice to know you can probably hop in the truck and drive away if you ever need to. So yeah, this is a little trap door that comes out. You just have to leave the little sliding window in the Tacoma open and it's squeezed, but it's good to have. Also, the other campers I built also were kind of flat tops, and I think, yeah, a little arch just adds so much in the way of like space and also just making it feel a little more like organic and cozy. Basically, what I was writing, I didn't originally intend it to be like at all nautical or anything. But when I was writing the blurb for Lloyd Kahn's book there, I was staying in my friend's boat in Tacoma, Washington, and just kind of like loved all the curves everywhere. I felt it added so much. And so then, yeah, I think the curve kind of really works well with everything else. I think it'd be a bit of a shame to have a flat roof. Yeah, so I guess some of the pros and cons, obviously like, as I've mentioned, like keeping it light and keeping it simple is really nice. There's like not really anything to hassle with or fuss with. It just kind of works, which is really nice. As well as like keeping good mileage, keeping it light, all that kind of stuff. But then on the inverse, like of course, I probably like within reason like shouldn't go off grid for 3 weeks. I think I'd run out of food and water and all that kind of stuff, you know, depending on where I'm at. So yeah, I mean, everything is kind of a compromise, I think, with campers, and so this one's kind of been a good like, you know, weekend thing, or if I'm like at a job that has like water and a shower and plumbing or whatever, then it works like perfect. You know, it's just like a nice little shack for me. But I think if I was doing like full-time living on the road, this would be a little too little, you know. So yeah, I'd say in the future, you know, I definitely have fantasized about building like a much bigger camper on a flatbed with a more elaborate setup. I just finished a van, so that was like included, you know, all this electrical and plumbing, and like had huge water tanks and like extensive wiring, and that's super cool and like is an awesome thing to have. But I think if I was really driving it around every day, it'd probably be a little excessive. Yeah, sweet. So this is like, I built a little platform, obviously, to give some extra space underneath, and you don't need like, you know, 5 feet or whatever of space for the bed. And originally I built this little slide in. It was like this nice little wood sliding kitchen rig that could like slide out and had folding legs. But in the end, I just kind of actually felt it was more practical to have like just crates and like stuff be a little more modular or whatever. So yeah, there's a good amount of space under here if you're willing to like get in on your stomach and slide in there. But yeah, it's just good for storing whatever. Yeah, so I was just saying, I built this van for a guy recently, and it had all these like amenities, solar and like battery and huge water tanks and gray water and all that kind of stuff. And it's really like nice to have, but I've really just found that I never need any of it for what I use the truck for. So yeah, I've kind of just felt like keeping it simple and light is the name of the game, and yeah, I really just kind of like the simplistic like nature of it. It just feels like a nice little cozy house, and there's really nothing to go wrong. It's just kind of a simple little shack, and kind of been liking it that way. Welcome to the outside. So these little portholes have been good. They open up for ventilation, and they don't like allow too much light in the morning. If you're trying to sleep in, it's nice just to have some, kind of a nice little cocoon. But you can still see outside, and they definitely like give it a nice feel. Looking out of, a round window at a view is like kind of a special little thing. And yeah, they're just like simple and work. They're often old. They're antique bronze off of an old boat somewhere. And yeah, they just they don't make them like that anymore. They're just like tanks, and they work great. So probably my biggest regret with the thing was originally that I had varnished it. I built campers in the past where I just like varnished the outside, caulked the seams on the tongue and groove, and that was fine. It kept the water out. But this one has so many little boards that I guess I didn't caulk the seams well enough, and I varnished the thing. And then like when the winter rolled around, like I would just start to notice like, obviously it's tongue and groove, so that theoretically the structure is waterproof, but then wood's porous, of course. So it started to kind of absorb water, and you could like see the little watermarks on the inside. Yeah, so I sanded it all back down to bare wood, and then decided to use a fiberglass epoxy, which is like definitely the correct probably thing to do, because it really just creates a nice seal, keeps all the water out while leaving like a nice kind of exposed wood look. Definitely the fiberglass adds like a great amount of shear, and definitely like noticeably like before and after it was a little more like kind of rickety sounding when I would go down the road. I think it was plenty strong, but this definitely tightened it up and kind of made it like more of a like a strong little unit. So we'll see how it holds up. It's been a couple years, and it's doing okay. Yeah, so more on the outside. Another cool thing I think is the copper roof. I'd used like stainless steel in the past for the roof, and it works fine. But I just thought with the color of the wood and the portholes, it'd be kind of a shame for it not to match. So went with the copper. Metalwork's definitely not my forte. So I ended up doing some things up here, like this like curve where it's like curving in two directions, where it could definitely use some cleaning up. But it's been good so far, keeping the rain out. And that's the main thing. So I'd love to build stuff for whoever is interested. I'd love to talk about building stuff. My website is Ben Bloom, my name, .zenfolio.com. And yeah, I got a contact page in there, but also, yeah, it can be reached through my Instagram. It's a personal account. It's Ben Bloom, my name _. So thanks so much for coming in. Yeah, thanks for doing this.